This bride thought the day of her wedding would be the best day of her life, but instead, it turned into a nightmare when her soon-to-be husband chose to humiliate her in front of everyone. It was so bad that she decided to cancel the wedding completely. But then, her mom tells her this. Before we start, smash the like button and make sure to subscribe if you haven't, and hit that notification bell so that you won't miss any new stories. This day could have been so wonderful. Elizabeth, the bride-to-be, had been looking forward to it for months. She and her fiancé, Tom, had planned it perfectly. When Beth arrived in her beautiful white gown, everyone was already there, and in the center of them was her fiancé, Tom. He waited patiently for her arrival. Tom stepped forward, holding the microphone with steady hands and a confident smile. The room quieted down, and everyone turned their attention to the groom-to-be. Tom began his speech, but instead of sweet words or romantic sentiments, he launched into something completely unexpected. His voice was clear, but the tone was sharp. What was supposed to be a lighthearted tribute turned into something strange and unsettling. Tom's comments weren't funny anymore. They were slowly morphing into personal attacks. No one laughed, and Beth began to realize something was very wrong. This wasn't the speech of a man in love. This was something else entirely. Beth had prepared her own speech in advance, carefully writing down words of love and gratitude. Tom, however, had made it clear he was going to wing it. He began by joking about how they met, and for a brief moment there were smiles. But suddenly, his words took a strange turn. The jokes became more biting, and the warmth left his voice. The room grew quieter as Tom's jokes crossed a line. He brought up their age gap, making a crude remark about marrying his grandmother. Beth blinked, stunned. Was that meant to be funny? But Tom wasn't finished. He laughed at his own comment, looking around for approval. Beth sat frozen, her cheeks flushed with embarrassment. Her hands trembled in her lap. Tom leaned into the microphone with a smirk and began criticizing Beth's appearance. He commented on her weight in front of everyone, comparing her body to that of a whale. Laughter was nowhere to be heard now. Beth's heart sank deeper with each word. He ended the speech with a final insult. "Let's just get married now before I change my mind." A few of his friends chuckled awkwardly, but no one else moved. Beth stared at him in disbelief. The man she planned to marry had just ripped her heart open on purpose. The rest of the crowd sat in silence, uncomfortable and shocked. Every eye turned toward Beth, waiting for her reaction. Beth sat still, her face pale, her expression blank. She began to cry softly at first, then harder, unable to hold it back. Beth remained in her chair, stunned. How could the man she loved humiliate her like that, in front of everyone? Meanwhile, Tom acted as if nothing had happened. She stood slowly, her dress flowing as she rose. All eyes turned. "Thank you all for being here today," she began. Her gaze shifted to Tom, who now looked concerned. "But there won't be a wedding," gasps filled the room. "Not today, not ever." She wasn't done. She looked at Tom directly. "This isn't a tasteless joke like yours. I'm calling it. This wedding is over." The guests were stunned, some frozen, others whispering. Beth faced the crowd again. "I will not marry someone who humiliates me in front of everyone I love." Then she glared at Tom. "How dare you?" Tom tried to speak, but Beth had already walked away and the room erupted. Tom sat frozen. At first, he thought Beth was joking, giving him a taste of his own medicine. But her voice, her exit, it wasn't a performance. The realization crept in. She had ended their relationship publicly. Without hesitation, Beth's sister followed, calling after her. But Beth didn't stop. She moved quickly, slamming her door shut. The click of the lock sealed the chaotic event. Inside, Beth cried until her throat went raw. She wanted no comfort, no apologies. The only person she reached out to was her father. Curled up on her bed, she whispered, "Please keep Tom away from me." Her father's voice was steady. "Don't worry, sweetie. I'll take care of it." And he did. Tom was kept away. No contact, no messages. Her father stood guard, making sure Beth had the space she needed. Weeks passed. Beth's heartbreak grew heavier. Her sister, worried, offered her a room, but Beth stayed isolated. The door always closed. Her grief was visible. Then, one morning, her sister knocked and stayed. She talked through the door with coffee in hand, offering love and honesty. "You've been hiding long enough. This man took your joy. Don't let him keep it." Something inside Beth shifted. Her sister wasn't scolding her, she was trying to save her. That day, Beth opened the door for the first time. Her eyes were swollen and tired, but something inside her had changed. And with her sister's support, she finally stood up. She joined a gym, started cooking healthy meals, and returned to reading. Her broken spirit started mending piece by piece. Work became her focus. With every task, she felt stronger. Not long after, she was promoted. Her posture, energy, and presence transformed. But the real victory wasn't professional, it was internal. Physically, She had changed too. Her workouts reshaped her body, and her reflection finally felt like a source of pride. After a year alone, Beth found happiness again. She had grown stronger, rediscovered her identity, and built a peaceful new life. But just as things felt settled, something unexpected disrupted her world again. It started with a phone call from her mother. Beth picked up, cheerful, until her mom's tone shifted. "Honey, I need to talk to you about Tom." Her heart skipped. Even the name sent a chill down her spine. It had been a year and a month since the wedding that wasn't. Beth had just been in her garage shaping clay on her pottery wheel, her new calming hobby, when the doorbell rang. Startled, she wiped her hands and headed to the door, unsure who it could be. Through the glass, she saw her mother, holding a small bag and wearing a serious expression. Beth opened the door, surprised. "Mom, what's going on?" Her mother only said, "Brought sandwiches." They sat at the kitchen table. Then came the truth. Her mom finally said, "I saw Tom in town today. I wasn't sure whether to tell you, but I think you deserve to know." Beth waited, tense. Her mom took a breath. "I saw Tom again, and he's not doing well." Beth's frown deepened. "What do you mean?" Her mother hesitated. "He looks lost, like he hasn't eaten or slept in days." Beth rolled her eyes at first. Why should she care? But then her mother added, "Beth, he's homeless. I've seen him all week, sitting on the sidewalk. He's begging for food." Beth's eyes widened. "What?" Her mother nodded. Beth didn't know how to feel. Tom had humiliated her, broken her heart. "But homelessness, where is he staying?" she asked. Her mother hesitated, then answered, "Near Lancaster Crossing, by the bank. I see him there most afternoons." Beth nodded. Her mom added, "Prepare yourself. He doesn't look like the man you once knew." Beth said nothing. But the decision was made. She had to see it with her own eyes. The next day, Beth drove to Lancaster Crossing and parked a block away. She walked slowly, nerves building with every step. She turned the corner and saw him sitting in the shade, hunched over, shaking a small cup. His clothes hung from his frame, hair long and unkempt. Tom slowly looked up, unaware she was there. Beth stood silently, studying him. She crouched beside him and softly greeted him. His eyes were blank at first, until her voice triggered recognition. "Beth," he whispered, "you look amazing." There was awe in his voice, but also deep sadness. Her transformation only reminded him of what he'd lost. Beth gave a faint smile. "You've changed too, but not for the better." Tom lowered his gaze in shame. No further explanation was needed. "Tom tuk a shaki breath." "It all started with the wedding," he said. "Everything unraveled after that." Beth nodded slowly, letting him continue. He admitted the mistake began as a dare. His friends encouraged him to roast her during the rehearsal dinner. "It was meant to be lighthearted. I didn't think it through," he said. "I crossed the line, and I saw it in your eyes. I ruined everything with that one speech. By the time I realized, it was too late." He tried to apologize, but her father never let him near. "He was protecting you. I get it. But then the video, that's what really destroyed me." Beth raised her eyebrows. "Video?" Tom nodded. "Your cousin filmed the speech and posted it online. It went viral. People tore him apart in the comments, labeling him a monster. He received hate mail. The video followed him everywhere, even to work. Then came the breaking point. My boss saw it," he said. "Big on image, strong feminist. She fired him on the spot. She even spread the word. No one wanted to hire me. I became the guy who humiliated his bride. My career was over." Beth sat in stunned silence. She had known pain, but she hadn't imagined how far Tom had fallen. And still, his story wasn't finished. He'd lost his apartment, couch-surfed, and called in every favor, but they didn't last. Bills piled up. He sold everything, guitars, clothes, furniture, until he had nothing left. Just another forgotten face on the street. Beth's chest tightened. Even his friends disappeared. At first, they helped, Tom said, but depression took over. I became hard to be around. Eventually, they stopped calling. He had pushed them away without meaning to, and now he was alone. Looking into Tom's tired eyes, she softly said, "Come with me. I'll help you." Tom blinked, speechless. After everything he'd done, he couldn't believe it. She drove him to her home, gave him clean clothes and a warm shower. "They're my brothers," she said. Tom stood under the water, still stunned. Why was she doing this? Over time, their conversations grew lighter. Laughter returned, and something unexpected began to grow. It wasn't romantic at first, just honest connection. They spoke as equals now, shaped by the pain they'd endured. Gone was the arrogance that once clouded Tom. Gone was the fragile insecurity in Beth. Something had matured in them both. Their friendship deepened, and as they sat sipping tea one quiet evening, a realization surfaced. Their story wasn't over. Love returned, not with fireworks, but with quiet strength. and slowly they told those closest to them. Families were shocked, some skeptical, but over time, even the doubters began to believe in the new version of Tom and Beth. Then, exactly 2 years after the wedding that never was, something incredible happened. Beth and Tom stood at the altar once again, but this time they were different, stronger, wiser, and deeply connected. The ceremony was simple and full of warmth. No bad jokes, no awkward speeches, just peace, laughter, and quiet joy. They had been through pain, loss, and shame. But tonight, all of that faded. What remained was real. Not perfect, but honest. Sometimes love comes not wrapped in ribbons, but in bruises, healing, and truth. Later that night, walking away from the venue, Beth looked up at the stars. She squeezed Tom's hand gently. "We did it," she whispered. He smiled, kissed her forehead, and together they stepped into a future they had built from the ruins, this time for real.